We're going to talk more about this big story out of Mexico. Ruben Olmos, international government relations consultant. He's also managing partner at the consulting firm Global Nexus. Good to have you back on the show. Frank mentioned a good point, saying that this was a big deal. The administration in Mexico thinks it's a big deal. The industry thinks this is a big deal. So explain to us why this is such a big deal.
Well, Phil, thank you again for having me. It is a big deal for Mexico to what happened today in President Peña Nieto introduced an energy reform twofold. It talks about oil and it talks about electricity. Mexico has been losing competitiveness over the last couple of years, 25 years, losing competitiveness given the fact that the oil state firm Pemex is just not able to pull all the oil out that the country has.
They need more money. They need more investment. And so we're talking about foreign investment that they're going to open up. And we've heard this theme around the world, by the way. It's not just Mexico, but the attraction of what, doesn't matter what country you're from, they want to attract more money for investment so they can dig more wells, so they can dig more oil. And I guess in turn, that's also good for the economy, right?
Let me just give you an example. 10 years ago, Mexico used to produce at least 3.5 million barrels on a daily basis. Now it roughly produces 2.4, 2.5. So you can see that in 10 years we lost a lot of competitiveness in that aspect. Now, the government wasn't very, very clear in terms of what it meant as a foreign direct investment, what the investment would do for Pemex. It talks about contracts sharing the revenue of Pemex, but it wasn't very clear and specific about how this would work. What it does, though, is talks about opening Pemex and making Pemex more competitive.
They're going to basically break Pemex up in a way. And here lies the question. Pemex is basically a monopoly. I mean, that's the go-to energy company in Mexico, and there's a lot of examples around the world. And the question is do monopolies work, especially when it comes to energy companies?
It's very clear that in Mexico it hasn't worked. In the proposal that President Peña put forward today, he talks about the fact that Mexico needs to create more jobs. It needs to be more competitive in the social aspect. So I think that by opening Pemex and bringing foreign direct investment in, we were going to have better rates when it comes to electricity. Mexicans are going to pay less for electricity. They pay a lot of money for very poor electricity. I think that's a key aspect of the reform that was presented.
We were talking before the interview a lot about our experiences in Mexico, and security is a big issue. Whether you're in the energy industry, you're in the tourism industry, one of the things that Mexico has to get right is ensuring that the people in Mexico are safe and the visitors to Mexico is safe. How much is being done on that side from the administration?
It's been a rough 6 years, Phil, I would say. I think that last administration was very focused in tackling drug cartels and dismantling drug cartels. I think that President Peña Nieto has put forward a new strategy, which includes not just destroying the cartels, but also tackling and educating people about the bad stuff that brings when you.
It scares people. I mean, it scares people. Let's be honest. I mean, if you have a couple $1 billion and these companies have billions of dollars, they can go anywhere in the world that they want, whether it's Mexico or South America or East or West. They're going to be scared if there's violence and there's places where you get kidnapped and you see the stuff on TV. Mexico needs to address that. If they can open the doors all they want, but they have to want to come through those doors. I mean, isn't that something they need to address immediately?
There's no doubt that the Peña Nieto administration needs to show results soon. It's been in office roughly 6 months, and there's been a couple of advances when it comes to tackling regional organized crime in certain areas of the country. I think that the new strategy is beginning to give small results, but the image abroad, like you were saying, is still very rough. People are still scared of traveling to Mexico, unfortunately.
The energy needs of Mexico, I suppose, depends on the economy of Mexico. If the economy continues to grow at a brisk pace, it's going to need more energy, and vice versa. What has the government determined that it needs for energy development from Mexico? Is it going to be more natural gas? It's going to be more energy efficient? It's not just going to be about more oil.
I think if this reform goes through, and it seems that the numbers are working on the side of the president, the two major parties, the PRI in power and the PAN, the party that just lost power, have the numbers to approve this reform. With this said, this would be a major reform, and I would say that it's at the level of when NAFTA was approved in Mexico, and obviously foreign direct investment increased in Mexico thanks to NAFTA.
The North America Free Trade Agreement.
The North America Free Trade Agreement.
Which was very controversial in itself.
Exactly. But I think that the numbers are clear. Commerce has boomed after NAFTA. More jobs have been created along the border in Mexico. Now, Mexico needs more infrastructure. Mexico needs to work on its poverty levels. And the only way to do this is to bring foreign direct investment and local investment to make our energy sector work better.
Toughest question of the night. All these reforms, all these changes, everyone seems to agree on it. When are we going to see results?
I think that what President Peña is looking at this point is to create, between now and the end of the administration, at least 500,000 jobs. And he's talking about almost 2.5 million jobs between now and 2018. The people want to see more money in their back. They want to see more money to spend, and I think this is the right way to go.
Great stuff, Ruben. Always good to have you here.
Thank you, Phil, for having me.
Thank you very much.